It was supposed to be a romantic getaway. Just my wife and me, enjoying a week of sun, sand, and endless pina coladas at an all-inclusive resort in the Caribbean. Well, her parents decided to join us, but I was trying my best to not be bothered. On top, when we arrived, my wife came down with a nasty case of food poisoning on the second day of our trip and was bedridden for the remainder of our stay. I did my best to make her comfortable, bringing her ginger ale and dry toast, but there wasn't much I could do other than wait for her to recover. As a result, I found myself spending most of my time alone by the pool or on the beach while she slept in our hotel room. One afternoon, as I was lounging by the pool reading a book, I noticed someone approaching out of the corner of my eye. I looked up to see who it was and was surprised to find my mother-in-law standing before me. "Hey there," she said with a smile. "Mind if I join you?" "Of course not," I replied, scooting over on my chaise lounge to make room for her. "Where's your husband?" "Oh, he's off playing golf somewhere," she said dismissively. "He's been hitting the links every day since we got here. I told him he should spend more time with his daughter while we have the chance." I nodded sympathetically. My sister-in-law had just started college and wasn't able to make it on this trip due to her class schedule. "Your daughter is feeling better, I hope?" she asked. "Not really," I sighed. "She's been pretty sick since yesterday. The doctor thinks it might be some kind of stomach virus." "I'm sorry to hear that," my mother-in-law said sincerely. "Is there anything I can do to help?" I appreciated the offer but didn't want to impose on her hospitality any further than we already had. "No, that's all right," I said. "I've got it under control. But thanks for offering." We sat in silence for a few moments, watching the other hotel guests splashing around in the pool and soaking up the sun on their lounge chairs. "It's a shame your wife isn't feeling well," my mother-in-law said finally. "This place is really quite lovely." "Yeah, it's too bad," I agreed. We were both really looking forward to this trip. Another moment of awkward silence passed between us before my mother-in-law spoke again. "You know, I was thinking," she said hesitantly. "Since your wife isn't able to enjoy herself, maybe we could make the most of our time here and do something fun together. Just as friends, of course." I considered her offer for a moment before responding. "Sure, that sounds nice," I said with a smile. "What did you have in mind?" "Oh, I don't know," she replied with a shrug. "Maybe we could go out for dinner or catch a show at one of the bars here in the hotel. Whatever you're in the mood for." "I'll have to check with my wife and see how she's feeling first," I said cautiously. "Of course, that goes without saying," my mother-in-law agreed quickly. "We wouldn't want to do anything to upset her. Just let me know when you get a chance." "Will do," I said with a nod. We sat in silence for a while longer before my mother-in-law stood up from her lounge chair. "Well, I should probably get going," she said apologetically. "I'm sure there are plenty of other things you'd rather be doing than sitting around talking to your old mother-in-law." "Nonsense!" I exclaimed. "I'm happy to keep you company if you don't mind me boring you to death with my small talk." She laughed lightly at my self-deprecating joke. "You're too kind," she said with a smile and sat down again. "So, what do you say we take a dip in the pool to cool off?" she suggested with a mischievous smile. I hesitated for a moment, unsure of how to respond. The attraction between us was undeniable, and I couldn't help but wonder if she had ulterior motives. "Come on, don't be shy," she teased. "It'll be fun." Unable to resist her playful invitation, I nodded and stood up from the table. My mother-in-law led the way to the edge of the pool and slowly descended the steps into the water. I followed suit, my heart pounding in my chest as I approached her. The cool water felt refreshing against my heated skin as I waded over to where she was standing. We made idle conversation at first, talking about anything and everything except for the elephant in the room, our growing desire for each other. But as time passed and our inhibitions began to fade away, the conversation took on a more flirtatious tone. Our words became laced with innuendo, our eyes locked in a silent battle of seduction. Unable to resist any longer, I closed the distance between us and placed my hands on her hips. She looked up at me with a mix of surprise and anticipation in her eyes as I pulled her body close to mine. Our lips met in a hungry kiss that ignited a fire within me that I never knew existed. The world around us faded away as we lost ourselves in each other's embrace, our bodies moving together in perfect harmony. I trailed kisses down her neck and across her collarbone, eliciting soft moans of pleasure from her lips. My hands explored every inch of her body, memorizing every curve and contour as if it were a work of art. My mother-in-law's hands were equally busy exploring my body, igniting sparks of pleasure with every touch. She tugged at the hem of my swimsuit, silently asking for permission to remove it. I obliged, lifting my arms as she peeled the fabric away, leaving me completely exposed before her. Desire burned in her eyes as she took in the sight of my naked body. She ran her hands over my chest and down my abdomen, sending shivers of anticipation coursing through me. I watched as she shed her own swimsuit, revealing a body that defied age and gravity. I couldn't tear my eyes away from her, captivated by the beauty and confidence she exuded. She stepped closer and cupped my face in her hands, gazing into my eyes with a mixture of love and lust. "I want you," she whispered huskily. "I've wanted you for so long." Her words sent a surge of electricity straight to my core, intensifying the ache between my legs. Without another word, I took her hand and led her out of the pool. We hurried back to our lounge chairs, shedding the rest of our clothing along the way. The warm sun felt like a caress against our naked bodies as we collapsed onto the chaise lounges in a tangle of limbs and kisses. My lips trailed a path of fire down her neck and across her breasts, teasing each nipple to stiff beats before continuing southward. I spread her legs open wide, reveling in the sight of her glistening arousal just waiting to be explored. "Just like that," she moaned. "Don't stop." As her breathing slowly returned to normal, I kissed my way back up her body until our lips met in a searing kiss. "I need you," she whispered against my mouth. "Now." She let out a low groan of pleasure, our bodies moving together in a primal dance of lust and need. And then it happened. A tidal wave of pleasure crashed over me, washing away all coherent thought as I shattered into a million pieces. We clung to each other as we rode out the waves of ecstasy, our bodies slowly coming down from the high. Our sweaty skin stuck together as we basked in the afterglow, savoring the intimacy and connection that we had just shared. We sat in silence for a moment, neither of us sure what to say next. "So, about that dinner tonight," my mother-in-law began hesitantly. "Are you still interested?" I looked at her, surprised by the question. I wasn't sure what to think anymore. "Are we pretending this didn't happen?" I don't know," I stammered. "Come on, we can do something fun afterwards," she said with a pleasurable undertone. "Oh, I thought, we're going to continue on that journey." Before I could think about it, my desire already answered for me, "Yes, sure, I'm looking forward to." Oh boy, what have I gotten myself into?